Hello everyone, welcome to DevOps DevSecOps channel. Today our topic is how to run Jenkins as a Docker container. First of all, I would like to wish all of you a very happy new year. Stay fit, stay healthy, and keep learning. So let's move on to our uh, prerequisites part. So the prerequisites of this tutorial is we should have a Linux box. It may be Ubuntu, Red Hat, or any. But I would suggest for following the whole tutorial, the full tutorial as it is, better go with the Ubuntu 18.04 or any version should be fine actually. I have used Ubuntu 18.04 latest version, and then we will be installing Docker or Docker engine and Docker Compose, and then Git. By default, with Git comes packaged with the Ubuntu flavor which I have installed. Uh, in case you don't have it, just install the Git client. Now, first of all, before going through the tutorial, I would like to say that this is not a Docker tutorial, so I'll not be explaining in full details about the Docker. Uh, though will briefly explain the Docker Compose or manifest file, how we are creating the container. For Docker, we can have a separate tutorial later in the future. Okay, let's understand and get our hands dirty. So for Ubuntu server, what I have done is I have installed a virtual box, and on top of that I have installed the Ubuntu OS 18.04. So first we will install the this first we will update the Ubuntu packages, Ubuntu package repository, so which will be done through this command sudo apt update. Okay, next what we will do is we will allow the packages to be installed through HTTPS. So for that we will need to execute this command CA certificates, and once we do it, it should allow all HTTPS connections. Yes, okay, cool. So next what we need to do is we need to install the key for the official Docker repository. So once we do that, we will just get an OK printout, OK printed, so we can understand that it's done. Okay, this is also done. Now what we will do is we will add the uh, we will add the Docker repository to the apt sources for the Ubuntu, the app repository with the Docker URL. We will again update the Ubuntu repository list. So this is also done. Now our next task, first task we will do is we will be installing Docker CE. Docker CE is the community version, which is open source and available for the community, so for free. So we need to install that first. So let it install, and in the meanwhile I'll explain you what a Docker is. A Docker is just a container. You must have seen in the if you have seen the shipping area, there will be a lot of containers. So in the containers we put the our things like chair, table, or any other thing. So a container is built of a specific size in a rectangular shaped box or or you can say cuboid type, so that it can be fit in the ship properly. The space can be managed and those things can be managed. So similarly, you can think the Docker as exactly as the same container, which will be running. We can either run on the VM or it can run on the hardware machine. These things. So the Docker is quite there from quite past few years, which has replaced the VM structure. This was a brief introduction for the Docker. Now let's check whether our Docker is up and running with command systemctl status Docker. Okay, so we can see it is active and running. Cool. So this part is done. Now what we need to do is we need to create a separate user even I can do it with my user upgrade, but better we can add a separate user for Jenkins so that we can maintain the user for running the Jenkins activities. Okay, next what we will do is we will add the user at the Jenkins. We'll first create a Jenkins group and add the Jenkins user to the uh, Jenkins group. Okay, so let's add the group now. Okay, seems this is already it already exists. We will add the Jenkins user to the Jenkins group. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool. So let's now move on further. Now we will add the Jenkins user to the Docker group because so that it should be Docker should be allowed to run as a Jenkins user. So what I will do is user mode -ag Docker Jenkins. Now we will switch to the Jenkins user and run. So we can see we can see our user is added to the uh, Docker group. So the Docker inflow actually displays the system-wide information. Now let's move on and we will do one thing. We will create this. We will run this command so that our UID and GID is same as that of the Docker container. And in the Docker container, I have created UID and GID with 1002. So now let's run it. Typo again, a typo. User mode is having space. I think I should correct it here also. Okay, so this is also run. So now what we will do is we will install the Docker Compose using the curl command, and then we will provide the execute permissions to the Docker Compose. So actually Docker engine is required. Docker engine is having an engine and daemon, so it interacts with the CLI version every time, and whatever you do when using Docker, it will interpret and understand that these are the command, what is the meaning of the Docker, or whatever you are defining in the Docker Compose. I think it is confusing. Let me complete the download part and then provide the execute permissions, then I'll explain it in a better way. Okay, now let's do Docker Compose version. Okay, so we have installed the Docker daemon and Docker engine and Docker Compose also now. Now basically Docker Compose is required because we will be creating a file called docker compose.yaml. So its format is YAML, in which we will it is just a kind of manifest where we will declare the things like Docker, please do these things for me. It's just like creating you can say when we create our house, we have a blueprint that is created by architect or the civil engineers, so we can understand what all how the structure of the flat or room will be. uh, So in the layout, everything is declared in the map, so or the engineering drawing. So similarly, Docker Compose is the manifest file where we declare our things, and the Docker takes care of everything, and it will make the resources available from the Docker Compose file. Okay, let's go and next what we need to do is we need to fetch the Docker Compose file. So for that, that is available in my repository, this one. We need to clone this, or either from here you can go to my this one Docker and you can clone it. Now as we know, we need Git, and it's already there with me. Let me do a Git clone here. So this will download the all the three files here. Okay, let's go inside Docker. Now we can see the content of Docker Compose. So these all are the basic structure which is in YAML, and it is format specific. Like it is specific about the space and alignment. So in this this is the YAML format. In this is the version which is mandatory part of the Docker Compose. So we will be using 2.1 version, and then this is the services, everything. And so means we can create different services is just like you can say uh, modules, or you can say applications, separate applications. So here we have named it as Jenkins. Image is the part which is being fetched from the Docker hub. So in the Docker hub, I have my repository Amrit 96 Jenkins, and there I have initially committed an image or created an image. From there, it will go and fetch the image, and then it will go to ports. And in the ports, we will be mapping. This is our host port, and this is the Docker port. So Docker has different port similar to our VMs. So we need to map it from the container to the host to see it in our host OS. I'll explain the ports, why these three ports are required. And then what we will do is for making the Jenkins system consistent, we need to map the container volume where the Jenkins is having the workspace and plugins and those not workspace, sorry, plugins and all the backup, so that we can have this access it from our host machine. Otherwise, if we don't do the volume mapping here, what will happen is every time you run the container, or suppose the container is crashed or you stop the container, it will not save the state. So suppose you created the Jenkins part of everything, you set up the repository plugins, everything, you created the jobs, but you never use the volume section here. So next time when you stop the Jenkins and you start it, everything will be gone. We need to do it from the start. So that is why the volume mapping is required, so that every time it will go and pick from here. Let's do one thing. I think it should be V2 as far I remember. This was not the one. Okay, let's do it. So for running the Docker or container up and running, this is the command. So we can see it is pulling it from the Docker hub with Amri 96 Jenkins. V2 is the tag mentioned here. So it is downloading all the things. So everything in the container is made up layer by layer. So it downloads the layer one by one. You can just think it just like a Photoshop. Like first we create the base layer. On top of that, we create different layers. And when we want to edit some layer, we need to means we can it will protect the layers below that. It's just the same concept applied in the Docker. Okay, now to see the Docker process or the container is up and running, Docker ps is the command. Oh, seems okay. I got it. What is the issue? The issue is the map directory is Docker always maps it if the directory is not there, that is Jenkins data which is backing from the container or mapping the container volume to the host volume. If it is not there, it will create with the root, and our we are having the access to Jenkins uh, user and group. So this is the issue. What we need to do is we need to change the ownership. This is just a one-time activity for actually it's my fault. I should have let you know before only. So when we map this, whatever the you give the name of the folder which is being mapped to the Docker volume, we should create the folder first here. We should create it manually first and provide the permissions. So if we don't provide the permissions, Docker will create it but will assign it as a root. So that will so that when the Docker is trying to sync, it is not able to sync because of the uh, this ownership issues. So now let's run it. Oops, I have run as root, though it will work. But let me show you. We can because we want to run Jenkins using the Jenkins user. So though this will be up and running, everything should be fine. So but I will not. I don't prefer to run it as a root. So what we can do is, for making the container down, Docker compose down, and see how easy it is to make the container up and down. Let's switch to Jenkins. Okay, clear everything. Now what we will do is we will issue the same command. Okay, see, that means the container is up and running. Now for seeing the container for the Jenkins log, we have to do docker logs -f. We have to give the container ID here. So this is the whole Jenkins log, which we get from, if we are doing from the Tomcat, we get it from the Catalina.out. So this is the same thing. Now let me explain some more things about this. So here, if we see it, it displays when the image from where the Docker repository downloaded is this one. Now from the image, it will create a container. Just if you remember a few minutes back, I just said shipping container. It's similar to the same. It's just a small container which is running in this Ubuntu VM. And then here is the command it is running to run the Jenkins, and then it is how much time it is being created from when the container was created, and what is the status uh, from which time it is up and running. Now here, if you see the special portion, the ports here is telling 000 localhost 5000 50,000 is mapped to 50,000 of container, then 80 is mapped to 80 of TCP, and then 443 is mapped to 8443 of the Docker container. So let's see the Jenkins UI 0.124. So when we hit this, we should get the Jenkins page. Okay, so for getting this, now if you see this is this directory, it will not be available in my host. Let me show you. See, it's not available. Where is the directory coming from in then? Actually, as we know, the Jenkins is running from the container, so this path should exist inside the container, not in the host. So what we will do to get this password, we can do is we need to get the Docker process docker logs -f 3a. Okay, so if you see, we can use the password from here, or we can go inside the container and fetch the password. So as we got the password here, let's fetch it from here. Provide the password here. Continue. Now the next process you must have, or the next step you must have already seen in the previous Jenkins tutorial. So till the time it's up, let me explain what are the ports and why are we using those ports only. So the 80 port is for HTTP, which is being mapped to container 8080 to serve the Jenkins this page. Install the suggested plugins. Let me select this. Okay. The second is 443. So in case we are using HTTPS, so the 443 is used for HTTPS, which is being mapped to Jenkins 8443, and then the 50,000 port. This is the JNLP TCP port, which is being used by Jenkins for connecting to the Windows agents. So that's all for the tutorial. Now let's move on to Jenkins. Hope so within 7 to 8 minutes everything will be installed. Then I'll show you some magic. Okay, seems some of the plugins have failed to install. You can retry it. I don't want to continue to use this Jenkins, so I just want to show the UI. Okay, so as promised, the magic starts here. Let's create a new job. So we will create a job. This I don't want anything to be stored, just want to see the job. So you can see currently we have one tutorial job. So what we can do is I will stop the container and start again. Before that, let me show what is there inside the Jenkins data which we sync. So these are all the plugins and user whatever we see in the normal Jenkins, all the things are being mapped here. So all the data is here when we map using now what I will do is I will make it down, shut down the Jenkins. So we can see Jenkins is not running. Let me refresh the page. See, not there. Okay, still this is not the magic. Let's move forward. I will make the Jenkins up again. Okay, come on. Still starting up. So we can see these plugins are not being installed, so the exceptions are there, but it should start up. Started all plugins. Okay, seems the Jenkins is coming up. Okay, so it says let me log in. Okay, welcome back. So see, we created the tutorial job and it's still here, so everything persists. Now what we will do, we will shut down the Jenkins again. Hold on for the magic. What we will do is we will remove the mapping part now, the volume mapping part. And we can see the Jenkins will be whole new again. We will install the plugins, everything will be new. And we will issue this command again. Jenkins is up and running. B6. Let's refresh it. So we can see it has given me the secret key again. So it has started everything again from the fresh, that is the installation of the Jenkins, and everything is gone. The persistent part is no more. Everything is the new Jenkins, everything installed from the beginning, everything will be new. No data will be stored. It's because the volume is not mapped from the Docker to our Ubuntu. Let it prompt for the password. Okay, see, it has asked again for the password. If I provide the password again and continue, it will ask me to set up using the plugins. So everything is new. So that's it. This is very simple, as you have seen how to run Jenkins as a Docker container. Thanks for watching. Keep sharing with others and also like the video, which will help me to or motivate me to create more and more free videos for all.